welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be making a gender reveal cake for my pregnancy. I'm super excited to make it. My husband and I both already know the gender. Just wanted to commemorate that we do know the gender, and we're just, having another milestone to celebrate during this entire pregnancy experience for me. It is our first baby, and I am super excited for the baby to come here later this year. So the plan for today is to make a small cake. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I'm not trying to win cupcake wars here. So I'm just going to make a cake and we'll see how it goes. So hoping it does go well. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not aiming for perfection here. I am using a recipe from Sally's Baking Addiction and I love it so much. I'll have it linked down below. I did make a few substitutions since we did run out of some ingredients. I'm just thinking of making a basic white cake, and then I'll put food coloring in to reveal the gender. So pink for girl, blue for boy, that sort of thing. And then I'll hopefully decorate it outside with some white frosting, and that's it. Super basic cake, and I'm really excited to see how this turns out. I have all of my ingredients here. I have 3 cups of cake flour, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. I have 3 eggs that I lightly scrambled, and this concoction over here, it's 3/4 cup of olive oil, 1 cup of milk, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. I'm going to start by dumping all of the dry ingredients, so these 3, into the KitchenAid mixer, and then I'm going to slowly fold in the wet ingredients. So let's go and do that. Now I'll be mixing in the teal food coloring into the mix since we are having a boy. Start by adding a few drops in first. I am taking out my 13 by 9 inch Purex and going to pour in the batter into the Purex. But first I'm going to layer this with a layer of parchment paper. This is what this looks like right now. The sides aren't perfect, but we're not going to be using them, so that's totally fine. I'm going to put this into the oven once it preheats to 350 degrees. The oven is ready. Now I'm going to set it for 30 minutes. This is really enormous. It definitely puffed up, and I'm just gonna wait for this to completely cool before I start the frosting. I'm probably going to need to shave off the top layer since there is like a dome shape here, but that is no problem at all. So let's wait for this to cool. Okay, so I just took it out of the glass container and laid it down on the counter. Looking good. It definitely does look more green than blue that I had intended, but it's totally fine. I have this bowl here and probably cut 2 of these to make 2 layers. I'm just gonna cut around it, and then I think that should be good. And then I have my cake layers, and I'll pop it in the fridge so it is a little bit colder before I frost it. So let's go get working. Okay, so I just placed this like that, and then I use the knife to cut around it, and I'm just going to break apart these other pieces, and I'll save them later to make like parfaits or cake balls. So let's do the other side. Also, I know some of you might be asking, why didn't I just use 2 cake pans to just put this in the oven so I don't have to deal with this? So the thing is that I only have 1 cake pan here, so I wasn't able to do 2 at the same time. I also have a really big cake pan, so it won't really rise as much as I would like. So this is the way that I wanted to opt to do the 13 by 9 pan, so I can have a smaller size cake, but then I could have more layers so it goes higher on top. So I'm just doing the shortcut method, and I only have to bake it once instead of, instead of baking it twice or 3 times if I have to do individual cake layers. So this is the reason why so far it is going okay. It's better than I had expected, so that's good. So I just placed the bowl over it and I made the outline, so I'm just gonna slowly peel this apart. Yes. It is actually a really nice teal color on the inside, so that's making me really happy. This is actually pretty good. I would definitely do this method again. So there are the cake scraps and these are the layers. They are pretty tall, so I might even, and it also, look, with the parchment paper, just pops right off. It's so easy. This is a really thick layer, so I might just cut this in half and also, shave off the top since this layer is a little bit different than the rest, and then we have our cake slices. I just cut the top layer, is that I just put it on the side and then I just use my knife to slice the top. Comes off perfectly. I guess I have some air bubbles, which is totally fine, and we'll just cover that up with frosting. So I have 3 cake slices here, and this one partially broke off. I'm not sure if I'll end up using this one, but I do have 3 nice layers, so I'm just going to wrap this and place it into the fridge so it cools down even more. This is how I'm going to put them in the fridge. I'm going to take some aluminum foil and then, cover this up and then pop it in the fridge. Now I'm slowly adding in 3 cups of powdered sugar, but I'm adding them in 1 cup batches so it doesn't explode and all the powdered sugar gets everywhere. So let's go do that. My frosting is done and it's so fluffy, and I just had a taste of it. It tastes so good. I took out my 3 cake layers. I just grabbed a cutting board and placed 2 pieces of parchment paper like this, so it's super easy to lift off later on once we want to move it to the cake stand. So let's go start assembling. Adding my first cake layer. Now let's go place the frosting. For frosting, this is the way that I like to do it. Going to take out a cup, placing a Ziploc bag, opening up like this, and then placing the frosting in here. Snipping that. Okay, so I just added a crumb cake layer. Now I'm gonna pop this into the fridge and wait for it to cool a little bit more. Then I'll put some more white frosting on the top. Just took it out of the fridge and it's pretty hard already, which is great. That's exactly what we want. So now I'm just gonna ice it some more so you can't really see the blue cake. Okay, so I finally finished all the frosting. There is no blue anywhere. I tried my best to really cover up all the blues, and I might just keep it plain for the gender reveal, and definitely more than enough for 2 people. So this is definitely a lot of cake and a lot of frosting. Okay, so now I'm just going to set this aside until we are ready to start the gender reveal.